I've got a road trip coming up with the family, and I thought I'd try 2-bag travel. So out of the bags I have, I thought I'd put together a video trying to figure out the best setup. What's going on, everybody? It's Lamar, MF and Research. I'm back. It's been a little while. Took a little break for the holidays. Getting ready to take a road trip with the family. So I thought I'd do this little video looking at some 2-bag travel options. So I think what I'm gonna do is put together a travel playlist. It'll be there. This will probably be one of the first videos, and I'll put some old videos in there just to kind of have some travel stuff together if you need it. So I have about 6 or so bags that I'm gonna look at and try to put them together. Maybe a few more I might throw in there and just figure out what the best combination is for 2-bag travel. So here are the 6 bags I'm gonna work with. I've got my Air Travel Pack Small. I think this is the first edition. I've got my Alpha 19er Whitley. I've got this rolling duffel bag that I've had forever that I got from Costco. It's got a hard bottom, so roll with that. I've also got the Big Haul 40 duffel from REI. I think I'm gonna do a video on that later too. It's pretty cool. And I've got my Rough Enough tote bag. Still got a video coming on that. I'm still putting it through a few more paces before I really give it a good review. So now let's put the combinations together and let's see what we got. So starting off, you see people out there, especially in the airport, they've got 2 backpacks. So let's start with that one and see if that's gonna work. First of all, it's compact. You got 2 backpacks, got them on, you can kind of move around. I personally think that carry method is kind of stupid because you've got the bags all on you and it just looks like you've got a baby carrier on in a backpack, and it messes up because you've got a lot of overlapping functionality. You've got like 2 laptop cases, and if you got 2 laptops or something like that, it's okay, but I think it can just be a little bit redundant. It can be a little restricting, giving you arms while they're free, movement is kind of tight. And in this particular case, I could probably adjust the strap some, but you see how it cuts off my chin, and that's not really cool for me. But it does leave both hands free, and depending on your backpack setup, it may be something you want to do, and you may just use the top handle for it. So now let's talk about the small backpack and the duffel. This one is a more compact carry. I do like that you have your more focused backpack, and you can use that. You've got the duffel bag. By carrying it by the handles, you get rid of that stupid issue of the 2 backpacks, and it gives you more flexibility. You do give up one of your hands if you're using the carry handles, but you can put that on your shoulder if you need to. This particular one has backpack straps, but it gets you back in that same 2 backpack roll, so we're not gonna do that. It gives you a good balance between organization and open storage, but it could get heavy just carrying it by the grab handle, depending on what you have in there. I'm only gonna put clothes in mine, so it shouldn't be too bad. And you do lack some of the versatility in carrying certain odd shaped things. Shout out to the tote bag. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So now let's talk about the small backpack and the roller duffel. This is a good balance. It makes carrying easy. It's a little bulky because that hard bottom does take up a little bit of extra space. Those wheels take up a little bit of extra space. But you do have, if you've got some sensitive items or you're bringing something back you want to keep protected, that does help you out with that protection. And it may be different for you depending on your bag, but for this particular bag that I have, that's something that I have to keep in mind. One of the things too is you can put that backpack on the handles and you've got a lot more flexibility. Carrying is easier. You don't have any of that weight on your back or shoulders if you don't want to, and you can just roll it through. But you don't have that maneuverability of just having the backs in your hand and can just throw them away. And you can just throw them from side to side when you need to. So now we got the large backpack and the roller. It basically does everything that the small backpack does. It just gives you more space. And if you have a couple extra clothes, that's a good thing to have. For me, one of the things that I think I consider is one of the things we do when we're staying in hotels for a few of the nights of the drive, we'll just take one bag in. So that gives me an opportunity to have all my tech and maybe a night or 2 of clothes in one bag, and then all the rest of the clothes in my trip in another bag. So that's something else to consider. It also gives you that option of attaching your backpack to the handles so you don't really have to worry about it. But again, it does tie up one hand so you don't have that backpack freedom that you normally have. So now let's go into the tote bag. I love the tote bag. One of the things, you've got a versatile carry. So if you're carrying odd-shaped items like I've talked about before, you can use a tote bag for that. You also have your duffel bag, so you've got tons of space. You can carry a lot of stuff, but you're usually putting everything on shoulders, so that weight distribution might be a little lopsided, and that mobility might get a little challenging. just having both of those bags on your shoulders. Or if you're grabbing one by the hand and have one on your shoulder. So something to keep in mind. If you're going short distances and you're just going from basically to the car to your room or something like that, or from the car to the luggage cart, it's not that big of a deal. But if you got to do a lot of walking, definitely keep that in mind. Now the duffel and the small roller. That's probably one of the larger space options you got. You got tons of space. You can bring whatever you need, bring the kitchen sink, all that good stuff. But do you really need all that space? And sometimes it might cause you to overpack. On my particular bag, I don't have a luggage pass-through on the duffel, so that's something to consider as well. The other thing too to worry about is that I don't have dedicated tech storage, so you don't have that laptop compartment, you don't have good space for your cables and organization or an admin panel. You can fix that easily with a couple add-ins in your bag, but if you want that all-in-one solution, that's something to definitely consider. So now I'll go to the tote and the roller. I won't, keep repeating myself, but it's a lot of the same benefits as having the duffel bag. The tote and the roller gives you a lot of that same functionality as the duffel bag, but it gives you the opportunity to roll the bag. So space is going to be kind of the same thing. That same tech drawback might be an issue. The issue of overpacking might be an issue still. So keep that in mind. What you get in this form is the ability to carry strange things if you go to like a strange shop or something like that, and you don't have to worry about the weight because you can just roll the bag on the wheels. The tote and the large backpack, you might start to tire one shoulder or you might get tired one side. The tote gives you that flexibility and you have that tech storage. So it gives you that advantage of having organization for your tech and having different storage capabilities. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So now we're toting the small backpack. Now this is a compact carry. One of the things is depending on how long you're gone, and in our case, we're gonna be gone about 10 days. So that might not be enough space unless you wanna reuse stuff, wash clothes over and over again. So that's something to consider. Now, if you want that small compact carry and you can have one as a day bag, one as your tech bag or something like that, or one as your clothing bag and one as your tech bag, either one, you kind of have that option, and it's in a more small compact area. And if space is an issue, which for this road trip is not really an issue, that's something to take in consideration. So now a couple things I didn't talk about is I've got a large duffel bag, I've got a base camp from North Face, and I've got just a large wheeled suitcase. I'm not really gonna use those because that's probably more space than I need. Again, it's like that same idea with the duffel and the roller duffel, just too much space, more than I need. It could get heavy carrying the large duffel or just lugging that big suitcase around when you don't really need it. Just too much bag for me. Back in the day, if you were gonna overpack, that's probably my bag of choice. But I can get it down. Really, I could probably just use one bag, but since I have the space, I'm gonna use two smaller bags. So just keep that in mind. If you got a lot of stuff, a lot of shoes, something like that, the large duffel bag or a large suitcase might be right up your alley. Can't say that one or two of those might not end up in the car, but they're not for me. So we won't tell anybody about that. So I'm gonna cheat and have my 2 1/4 bag set up because I'm gonna take the Air City sling with me that I have and use that just for in and out the car, quick stuff, and just my basic EDC stuff. So I don't have to have it in my pockets on the drive. And if I gotta go into the gas station or the rest stop or something like that, I can just grab that, roll in and go. So after thinking about all the pros and cons and thinking about what I can do, I think I'm gonna take the big haul duffel bag along with my air travel bag. That gives me a good bit of space. That gives me space in case I bring some more stuff back. That gives me an ability to hold my tech and all that good stuff. So I think that's the good balance between organization and just straight storage space. I also like the fact that I could just put a day or two worth in the travel pack and just use that for the actual driving part of the road trip, and then have the duffel for the things that I need when we get there. Extra shoes, clothes, stuff like that. Stuff that I'm not gonna use on the first couple of days when we're just driving. So I'll give you guys a rundown of how everything worked out, the loadouts, lessons learned, stuff like that when I get back. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you would try as well. Let me know what your solutions are. I love the comments, like I always say. I learned so much from you guys, so I just want to hear what you guys might have as feedback too. Can try that on a future trip. Like I always say, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. MF and Research, I'm out.